And we are live. Hi Evita, what's up? Welcome to Second Last Supper. कैसे हैं आप?
मैं ठीक हूँ. Thank you so much for having me. I have been very excited to be a part of Second Last Supper.
Thank you so
I think
much.
my Catholic upbringing is very excited कि Last
Oh,
Supper, Second Last Supper. Like I love the joke of this all.
I actually asked a lot of Catholic friends before like naming this channel Second Last Supper कि hi guys is like कि मैंने ऐसे WhatsApp किया था कि यार ये offensive तो नहीं होगा ना? Is this offensive?
नहीं,
Like,
no, absolutely not.
thank
I
God.
think yeah, I think it's quite funny.
अरे that was
At least I
actually
can say that.
हाँ हाँ. तो वो ही हमारा एक्चुअली आइडिया था कि क्वर्कीनेस देने के लिए कि
हाँ.
बिकॉज और मेरे को पता है कि इफ आई हैड नेम्ड द चैनल लास्ट सपर लाइक आई कैन नॉट कम्पीट विद जीसस ओके सो मतलब मैं कभी भी एसईओ में टॉप पे नहीं आता सो आई एम लाइक आई विल सेटल फॉर द सेकंड लास्ट वन
हाँ,
ओके सो
not bad.
हाँ सो या हमारी ऐसी ही बात होने वाली है बाय द वे बिकॉज लाइक दिस इज लाइक या बहुत ही ऐसे
No, no,
कैजुअल होगा या
I love it. I love it. I think after a very long day, I think my brain has also now functioning on one brain cell.
हाँ
So let's see
नाइस
कहाँ जाता है conversation.
Nice, nice, nice. So, Evita, writer, director, playwright, podcaster, like, is there anything that you do not do?
Sleep, eat on time,
Oh,
and I think make my parents proud.
where are
So,
you based, Evita?
so I'm based in Bombay.
Okay, nice. And
Yeah.
आप अपनी ये जो playwright वाली जर्नी है इसके बारे में हमें थोड़ा बताइए.
ठीक है. पहले मैं आपके expectations थोड़ा lower करती हूँ because when you say playwright, I already feel
मेरे
like
दिमाग में
I've been
ऐसे
in this
टेनेसी
industry.
टेनेसी विलियम्स आ रहे हैं.
हाँ. Or like Mahesh Sultani, Purva Naresh. I think I'm still like getting to maybe an inch of their success. But मेरी journey तो बहुत पहले से हुई थी. Like I would say like ever since I was a child itself, my mother was very insistent that I would, go into the arts, and she put me into these acting classes. And I remember when I was in school, there used to be these extracurricular classes where there used to be like Rail Padamsi के AIDS Productions करके एक troupe hota tha, and then they used to come and like teach you diction and stuff like that. So I did a couple of days there. And when I joined Xavier's, when I went to college, that's when I would say had a lot of opportunity to like write and direct, or rather I had seniors who bullied me into writing and directing, and from there it just kind of took flight. And now it's a very integral part of everything I do. So wahan se I would say my initiations began.
ओके एंड करंटली आप अभी किस चीज़ पे काम कर रहे हैं?
So currently, I have a digital theater platform which I have co-founded with Yamini Joshi.
अल्फाज.
She is Alfaaz karke, and she is someone who I knew in college, but we never really connected. It was only, I think, right before the lockdown in 2020, she hit me up on Instagram because she had finished studying at East Strasberg's University in New York, and she was like, "Do you want to work on plays together?" And I was like, sure, of course, kar lete hai. I was in a very corporate job, zindagi jhand thi. And when a very pretty girl asks you, do you want to do plays? You say yes. So I was like, yes, of course. And we, at that time, didn't really know what we were getting into, in a sense that it was very passion driven. And we wrote our first play together. And a little, I would say, towards the start of this year, we decided that let's write another play and let's open it up and make it a proper platform. And I would say that a lot of the way Alfaz has come about has just fallen like Tetris. And now it's a proper company. We have a team of people. We've released our first play. We're working on our second play, which is also to be released, I think, by sometime next week now, if everything goes to plan. So it's just like all these things have just like kind of happened, and I'm just going with the flow. And yeah, I think that's just how it's been with my theater journey. I would say I'm lucky. I've always been at the right place, the right time, found the right people.
एंड आप बता रहे हैं कि आप प्ले राइट हैं और इसमें लाइक
Hmm.
डू यू ऑल्सो लाइक डायरेक्ट दीज प्लेज लाइक
Yes, I do. And the reason for that was also because theater jaisi industry hai, and I know a lot of people might throw stones at me for saying this. There's a very strong gatekeeping that happens. अगर आप एक certain strata of society से नहीं आए हैं या अगर आपके पास connections नहीं है, it's very difficult to find enough producers to put your content out. And the same is for this film industry. So you can understand with theater being a smaller set of people, it's even more close knitted, right? So for me, I just was the kind of person where I was like, if I do not have a grandfather in the industry and if no one's giving me the chances, मैं खुद create कर लूंगी. So that's just one of the reasons why I started directing my own work also, because I didn't want to wait to be given a chance. I wanted to create my own chances. And again, there's a lot of privilege attached. There's a lot of I met a lot of people who genuinely believed in me and gave me those pedestals, those platforms. So, that's why I direct most of my work.
Okay. Evita, are you there? Oh yeah, I'm losing you in between, like बीच में I
Yes,
think
yes.
आपका शायद
Oh, I'm so sorry.
हाँ मैं ला या
मेरा ही इंटरनेट होगा.
हाँ क्योंकि अब मेरा बिल्कुल सही आ रहा है बिकॉज लाइक हाँ मेरे यहाँ पे स्पीड लिखी हुई आ रही है साथ में तो आई थिंक इट इज योर्स नो
I
बट
think
लाइक
now this shouldn't be an issue. हाँ.
ओके ग्रेट तो विच पार्ट डू यू एंजॉय मोर लाइक डायरेक्शन और लाइक राइटिंग
I mean, that's like asking, do you like Papa more or Mama more?
yeah but like that's
But
the question
like
remains
अंदर में you know you like more.
हाँ
So no, I think I do like writing more, in a sense that I get to, obviously, I get to be I'm more comfortable with it because I've perhaps written for a much longer period of time than I have directed. But I find writing and directing very synonymous to what I do.
okay
So I tend to usually write and direct together. So I can't really pick it. But if you would ask me if I would choose between acting and writing directing, I would stick to writing directing. Actor तो नहीं बनना है, बहुत stress है उस profession में,
okay
मुझसे नहीं होगा.
जो आप बता रहे हैं आपके जो प्लेटफॉर्म का जो अल्फाज का जो पहला प्ले आया था कैन यू टेल
जी.
अस अ लिटिल मोर अबाउट दिस प्ले
All right. So the play that we released was called Teamy. It also has another title, which is Time. And the play is a very cute slice of life story, and it's about Tian and her niece Lily, and how they spend this one day together, and how they bond over these kind about like some of the issues in their lives. And I really wanted to tell a play that touched upon caregiver fatigue, that touched upon, how sometimes you're close to so many people outside your family. But when it comes to your own family, there's a kind of formality, and you don't really know your family at a deep interpersonal level. And
या
much of the play was inspired by my own relationship with my niece, where I I've begun to relate to her a lot now, and we have an inseparable bond that I didn't think we would ever have. Because you see your family at these gatherings and all. Hi, hello, how are you? आप मोटे हो गए, पतले हो गए, ये हो गया, ये वो हो गया. Like that's just the usual depth of conversation. You never really go into like the nitty gritties of how's your day and how are you feeling. So the play is a very slice of life kind of play, and I just wanted to explore that relationship.
एंड विच लैंग्वेज इज दिस
This is in English.
ओके
And I borrowed a lot from my own Goan culture, I would say, which is why the character's name is Tian. So yeah, the play is predominantly in English. We are looking with Alfaaz to diversify into different languages and not just keep it, colonial with English. But yeah, as scripts come in, we will look to do regional languages as well.
तो अगर लाइक अल्फाज के लिए अगर लेट्स से कि आई हैव अ स्क्रिप्ट कि हे आई वांट टू
Huh.
राइट और लाइक डू समथिंग कैन आई आल्सो अप्लाई
Yes. Of course. So if you go on Alfaaz's Instagram page, there is a link tree. Links. If you click on that, we have an expression of interest form. So if you're a writer, director, DOP, social media person, you can be in any capacity: music composer, musician. You can drop in your CV and you can drop in why you want to work with us, what you want to do with us, because Alfaaz works with a rotating structure. So each project we actively look to work with different people. So we're trying to build a community where we tap into like different kinds of people, work with different kinds of synergies, and we don't really want to make it this one monolith of the same kind of people getting the same chances, and it becomes a little bit too incestuous at one point.
अब मेरे कुछ मुश्किल सवाल आएंगे बिकॉज
अरे
आई एम फ्रॉम द फिल्म इंडस्ट्री माई सेल्फ,
ओके
लाइक मैं खुद डायरेक्ट करता हूँ। तो एज अ राइटर स्लैश डायरेक्टर आप हाउ डू यू फाइंड solace in just something which is just there on stage? Like आपको कभी ये भी हुआ कि hey, I want to, and I don't know if you have already done it, but like I want to make a short or a short format video format, like so how much are you um, how much enticing do you think the video format is?
So I think I would put it this way that when I call myself a writer, I try not to be limited to just that I only do stage plays or I only do video shots. Like I believe that if you're a writer, the medium in itself is fluid. So you should be a writer that can adapt to any kind of medium. I
Nice.
feel like a good writer is a chameleon. कि आपको अगर एक स्क्रिप्ट मिलता है, you need to see कि does the script work for a podcast, does it work for a video like a short film, does it work for a monologue, does it work for a play? So that has always been my aspiration, where I've wanted to be a writer, that regardless कि मुझे जहाँ भी medium मिले, I just want to be fluid enough to work in it. And again, a lot of this was because of the fact that there is so much gatekeeping in our industries that I don't think you can pick a niche. So even with Alfaaz, we are a digital theater platform. So while we are archiving theater, what we do is that while I'm writing plays, I'm keeping in mind how it's going to be filmed, how it's going to be shot. I'm keeping in mind that, okay, while I'm doing this play, I should retain the medium of the stage, but I should make it aesthetic and visually enticing enough for someone watching it from the comfort of their homes on YouTube or Facebook, etc.
Oh, so
So
basically ये plays are available to watch on YouTube and Facebook.
yes, yes. The entire point of Alfaz was to exactly do this, was to bring plays to the comfort of people's houses and also be as an archival, nature of it. I do think that the nature of how we consume content is changing. And one of the most important things is that, I have seen some amazing plays that I wish I could like eventually show people, and I could obviously can't do that, right? Because there are no stage performances recorded, nothing will ever replace stage. But I do think that if we want to archive for archival reasons, we should definitely record, publish. And also it just helps, like in the pandemic there have been so many stage productions, whether it's a National Theatre Live, The Show Must Go On, where they have recorded these amazing productions and they've put it up on digital spaces. So I think the purists don't like the fact that theater is being recorded for
Yeah,
TV
yeah,
or for
yeah.
digital, but the the platform for now will not survive. The art will not survive if we don't give it a platform. And I think that is where we want to really show people that theater is just another form of storytelling, like Dastan Goi is to poetry, for example.
I have a lot of stupid questions incoming. So
No,
मेरा
go
यहाँ
ahead.
पे जैसे मैं थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हो गया कि
Acha.
ये डिजिटली जो आप वीडियोस डालते हैं यूट्यूब पे आते हैं, सो
Ji.
ये लाइक वेयर आर दीज बीइंग वीडियोस शॉट, लाइक ये जो हाउ आर यू शूटिंग देम ऑन स्टेज? बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर डूइंग दिस plays on Zoom also. Some people are doing the Zoom plays. So
Ha, ha.
what is the
That
format
is
of your video, like this?
right. So that is something that we are not doing because Zoom ke bhi limits hote hai, right? Like I cannot account for production design. I cannot like the magic of stage is it's not going to be captured in a Zoom box.
Yeah.
However, that being said, what we tend to do is that at least when things were a bit open and when we shot Timi, we shot this at the Veda factory. So we went to a theater space and we filmed this. So
You
again,
shot
it's
it
like
at
a two
Veda
camera
Factory.
setup. There's one camera.
Nice.
Ji, bilkul. It's the best hub for anybody who wants to like, they're so cooperative, like absolutely love it. Rates also really good if you're looking to like film stuff. So yeah, so it's a two camera setup. There's one camera that's capturing the wide, which will
Hmm.
get the wide of the stage and the depth of the stage. And then there's another camera where we place it either on the right hand side, on the left hand side of stage, which will then capture the close-ups and like just other kind of B shots and all. So again, it's unlike a short film. We're not doing a lot of cinematic pans. There's not a lot of montages, nothing like that happening. It's still very cut and dry, where you will still see like a fade in, fade out in terms of a blackout, right? So there is a lot of blending, I would say, to fit the visual medium, but we're still retaining stage. And that being said, with our next production, which is a series of monologues, we've again kept the theatrical quality by making it very to the camera, and giving the actors room to work with. But again, the editing of it is not like film, where you'll have a montage coming in, or you'll have like a b-roll or a take from a different angle. It's still very straight to camera.
ओके
So yeah, that's बहुत सीखा है इसमें.
काफी सही इसमें आप
हाँ.
बता रहे हैं कि यू आर द को फाउंडर ऑफ अल्फाज लाइक हु आर द अदर पीपल जो हु आर रनिंग इट विद यू
So I'm running it with Yamini Joshi. She is my co-founder. So she's an actor, and both of us are very much
जिनके
closely
बारे में यू
working.
टोल्ड मी इन स्टार्ट सो शी इज योर को-फाउंडर गॉट इट
Yeah,
हाँ
she's
जी
my co-founder. And in right now our team is very small. I have an assistant director. Her name is Shaili Shah. I have another writer whose name I can't take because she's affiliated with other projects. So she's one of my co-writers as well. We have our DOP. Her name is Riti Gupta. We have our editors as well. Our editors keep changing because again, it's a profession where we cannot, just retain an editor. So we tend to like experiment with different editors. So right now, for our next play, our editor Chinmay is working on it. So our team is very small, and since we're a very new company, we're barely 3-4 months old. We're still in the stages of formalizing it, looking for funding, this and that. So a lot of our work right now is personal favors, is people who just want to make content, and we keep putting this disclaimer out that right now it's a self-funded platform and
या
you will be doing pro bono work. And it's just, I don't know if it's the nature of the time, so when we say that, people just get offended, like सब चीज पैसे के लिए नहीं है, पैसे तो हम ऐसे भी कमा सकते हैं. ठीक है, it's nice, हमारा काम बन जाता है, उनका पैशन चली जाता है, तो I guess it works.
या जो आप वो बात बता रहे हैं काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है कि पीपल गेटिंग ऑफेंडेड व्हेन यू टेल देम it's pro bono work. Do you think it's
Yeah.
right of them to get offended?
Yes and no. I mean, see, like for me as a co-founder, of course, it helps when you can budget it, in a sense that since we don't have active funding coming in, of course the kind of pro bono work we're looking for does help me. But I do understand that from an artist perspective, to actually agree in a time where getting work is so scarce, I'm very grateful. Like, I'm genuinely grateful for the people that have put in the hours and the work, whether it's with Timi, whether it's with our upcoming production, because it wouldn't have been easy, right, to decide to do something in a situation that we're in for free, regardless of how passionate you are. So I take it very seriously that there are people who still want to do pro bono work, even despite the scarcity of jobs in our profession.
Okay, I'll tell you my रिश्ता with Veda Factory. So
अच्छा.
Veda Factory भी like दो है ना, like there are two
हाँ हाँ, दो है.
Vedas. Yeah.
करेक्ट.
तो हमारी एक ऐसे फिल्म मेकिंग कम्युनिटी लाइक वी स्टार्टेड लाइक हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ लाइक एक फिल्म मेकर हैं देवाशीष माखीजा. सो देवाशीष माखीजा ने आबोबो करके एक फिल्म कम्युनिटी स्टार्ट की थी, तो उसके हम सेशंस कराते थे वेदा
ठीक है.
फैक्ट्री में. एंड वो बेसिकली द आइडिया वाज टू हैव अ बॉन फायर लाइक सेशंस वेयर हम एक टॉपिक चूज करते थे और शॉर्ट फिल्म स्क्रीन करते थे. एंड
मुंबई में बॉनफायर मतलब
bonfire
इतनी
was like the
गर्मी में. अच्छा,
metaphorical idea.
metaphorically. I'm sure like some Delhi person in the audience like, हाँ तुम लोग ऐसे बॉम्बे में कौन बॉनफायर
Yeah.
करेगा.
हाँ.
हाँ, कंटिन्यू.
So yeah, so हमने काफ़ी सारे इवेंट्स कराए हैं लाइक वेदा फैक्ट्री में. एंड आई एम फीलिंग वेरी अशेम्ड, बट मेरे को उनके जो फाउंडर है, मतलब उनका नाम एक बार अगर आप मेरे को बता देंगे वेदा के लाइक
I'm good, even worse with names. So I will check with Yamini and I
yeah.
will tell you.
No,
Because I'm terrible with names.
he's a very good guy and like very helpful and like super amazing. So just like Veda काफी सही जगह है and I'm glad like I like hey you're doing this at Veda. Nice. आपका
Yeah.
like मतलब and how does this work? Like ऐसा है कि अगर आप कुछ टाइम तक करेंगे, do you then go to Prithvi? Like is Prithvi like the Netflix of like the theater?
If anything, and I feel like it's slightly controversial, I see Prithvi as our rivals. If anything, we want to get as big as Prithvi. for both Yamini and I, Prithvi Theatre is like the first movers, and we kind of want to challenge them.
ये
So for us,
डिजिटल
that's like an
वर्सेस
ultimate.
एनालॉग चालू हो गया हाँ ये
And in a way, because even Prithvi started like for Thespo last year, even they were doing digital and stuff like that. And again, with Alfaaz, we really wanted to be community centric first. And we want the place to go out, like not just from our brand, but like people from, it can be, it doesn't have to be big production houses. You don't have to have a production
हाँ
like a company, theater company. I would love for just to bring people together, a writer from here, a musician from here, actors from here. And, so the only thing common that you have is Alfaz. That is the whole idea. You don't have to come in with a company. You don't have to come in with a set of things. We just want people to find a platform where you meet other people और आप ऐसे content बनाएं, because I think that is something that all of us are kind of starved. Where do we go now to make content? How do we reach to people? So we wanted to be the Bumble of theater industry, basically.
तो आपने जैसे बताया पृथ्वी इज योर लाइक राइवल इन अ
Uh,
सेंस बट व्हाट्स योर ओपिनियन ऑफ पृथ्वी
so I do think that what
also
Prithvi
the
has done.
Prithvi cafe मतलब the food at Prithvi cafe because I'm a fan
I love the food at Prithvi Cafe, so I'm extremely biased. I do think at one point they used to sell sangrias, and everyone around me has told me I've imagined this, but I have a very vivid memory of drinking a sangria and then having a paratha. So, theek hai. But with Prithvi Theatre, I do think that they, like when I was younger, it really did instill this kind of vibe that theater was cool, and Thespo was like the ultimate place to be. And that's why I feel like they did a lot for the
yeah
theater industry, at least in Mumbai. But I think somewhere every company kind of hits a kind of stagnation. And I think they've gotten comfortable with what they're doing. And I'm sure with the pandemic, there have been new learnings and new ways to adapt. So I think it'll be interesting to see where Prithvi goes from here, because they've kind of been at the top for so long. They've not really had any other competitors or any other stuff, and the only thing adverse has been the pandemic.
yeah
So I would say that I think for a lot of people, Prithvi's elitist, this, that, Yevo. But like I said, the industry as a whole has a lot of gatekeeping. It's opening up now because people are just like, chances to वैसे भी नहीं मिल रहे हैं, pandemic है, might as well create and move. So
yeah
the few theater groups that are there, it's now become very decentralized.
Eventually how do you
Eventually.
plan to make money out of Alfaz except from the funding
So eventually we want to move into doing workshops and move into a more knowledge imparting system as well. And see, for a platform like ours, workshops and like doing dramatic readings and these kind of gatherings is what would really work for us, because I don't think we're going to move into some kind of producing for like massive companies and stuff. That being said, we are doing very interesting brand projects. We recently worked with Teach for India, where we helped them create a video for their kids education revolution week. And we had them put together this a cappella video, and all of this was done remotely. So my god bless my sound designer, who synced 8 to 9 kids audios together and videos, and it's all a cappella, the multiple layerings, like how. But we do, like, I think, interesting stuff. We're keeping our options very fluid. We're still retaining that theater is our main bread and butter, but we'll see. I think it's too soon to tell, and the situation is too complicated. So we're very much right now, as it flows, we will roll. So yeah.
okay and how are you doing in general like what's your headspace like
So that's such a loaded question, but I think
I
I've been
always
doing.
so this is something I've learned because I've been doing like the podcasting and in general also now when I meet people I've just realized like एक होता है कि हम बोले hey how are you and you're like I'm fine but you put in the how are you after 30 minutes and the person is like you know what now that you ask because
Oh
the
God.
because how are you becomes much more genuine and like uh, even if it is not genuine, it leads to a conversation after, if it is not in the beginning. And I
Mm-hmm.
love to know what, like, people, how people are doing in general, like what their headspace is like in general. Like, so it's nothing कि मैं ऐसे plan करके आया था, मैंने बोला आपसे ये तो पूछा ही नहीं, तो
नहीं
मैंने
नहीं
सोचा पूछ लो.
नहीं so I will say that like it's been extremely hectic balancing because I have a full-time job, so balancing a full-time job with Alfaaz, which is also a full-time job. So I have essentially been working 18, 19 hours, and just that's been every single day. The past 2 months have just been constant working. So it's not easy because I feel like in the pandemic, one of the things that I struggled with was actually putting a stop to the sheer amount of things I was doing because I kept feeling like I wasn't doing enough. यहाँ पे कोई शेफ्स बन रहा है, दालकोना कॉफी मेकर्स बन रहा है, या
हसल
कोई
नहीं कर
शॉर्ट
रहे थे
फिल्म बना,
आप, हसल
like
नहीं कर रहे थे.
everybody was just doing so much, and I was like, man, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. So I started a podcast. I started a fast. I started a new job. I started doing social media freelance for other people. Like I just started doing so many things that I think it was up until recently where I was like, I have to pull the reins back, or else I'm just going to be a slave to my work and I'm not going to know where to stop. Right now, I'm working 18, 19 hours. The next thing I know, I'm going to be working 24 hours. So it's not been easy, but I think at the same time, I really love what I do. I'm very grateful that I get a chance to do my passion projects and earn my bread butter beer. So I try not to
Bread
complain
butter
too
beer.
much about it.
I heard that for the first time. Bread and
Yeah,
butter and beer. Nice. Like I'll use
yeah.
this sound.
That's not mine. I heard it on an amazing podcast called "Advertising Is Dead" by the Glitch
Oh,
founder. Yeah, yeah.
nice.
So he says that that there's something that you earn, which is your bread butter beer, and then there's like your passions that you do.
This is
So yeah.
nice because Varun Dugirala has been a guest on Chalchitra Talks also. So like unka, yeah. So we talk, Vani, like my co-founder, she is a big fan of the podcast. So
Love
yeah,
it. Yeah. I
काफी
absolutely love it.
नाइस. ब्रेड बटर एंड बियर. नाइस. यहाँ पे अनुप्रास अलंकार भी है ना, तो मेरे को ऐसे like
Yeah.
yeah. But like this is really nice. And like what kind of like stuff do you like to consume as someone like जो on like the internet or in the like play, मतलब offline also, online and offline, what is the stuff you like to consume?
I watch a lot of, and this is going to be no shocker, but I watch a
K
lot of
drama.
K dramas. There you go. So I've grown up watching K dramas. I've been watching K dramas since I was like 14, 15. So for me, it's like I've been watching, Star Plus all this while. So I've grown up watching a lot of K dramas. I was very influenced by anime. I think I'm very influenced by, the Japanese aesthetic, the Korean aesthetic. So which is why for
Nice, good
me,
shit.
I'm very visual oriented. So that's, and I also really like consuming foreign content. And when I say that, it's not just like bougie European films. I like watching stuff from like Thailand, Taiwan,
बहुत सही,
Philippines,
बहुत सही.
so I'm the kind of person where I just really like learning about cultures through art.
बहुत
So
सही.
I've always been that way. But now it's cool, now it's super cool to watch K dramas like K-pop and all that stuff. But back in the day, people would just be like, you're so weird. What are you doing? America's the best. Watch only that. But yeah, so I consume a lot of content, and by nature of my job also, I'm always on social media. So I think anything amuses me. Sometimes I just sit and watch like animal videos because I'm obsessed with like foxes and snakes and bears, and just that's what I tend to do. And offline, when whatever, like few chances that I've got to go out, I have chilled with my friends, and that's about it. I don't think I've done anything offline.
Offline, I meant like in the sense the how much plays do you consume, or
Oh,
did you
plays. Yeah.
did you consume
So I
before the
used to,
pandemic?
like, before the pandemic, I used to make it a point to at least see a play once a week. And so when I was doing my very corporate job, um, luckily for me, I was managing an account which I had to watch plays. So I would keep going to, like, and they would also like reimburse my tickets. So it was a
Oh,
sorted
this is so
scene.
cool.
Yeah. So I used to watch a lot of plays. I think I watched in a year, I must have seen over like 100 plays, both digitally, both offline. So I got a lot of, I would say, on ground experience because of that job, because I got to see so many plays. Then in the pandemic, every Saturday I would make it a point to watch one of the digital plays that would come out, whether it was from, a Scottish play or a British play, because at that time UK was the only country that was kind of pushing digital play content out. So I was watching a lot of those kind of stuff, and I'm trying to get back into reading now. It's very hard because I
Very
used to
hard.
be a reader when I was younger, so it's very embarrassing also
Yeah.
that I really struggle. So I started with Murakami, and that's been
Which
great.
one?
I started with Norwegian Wood, and I finished the
Nice.
book.
How
I
did you
loved
like
it
it?
so much.
I
I
loved it.
love it so much. And I was like, why did people tell me this was a love story? This is, and I was so shocked. I was like, there's nothing romantic about this
There's
book. It's a
nothing romantic.
beautiful exploration of grief. Like I mean, of course,
Nicely
there's
put.
another very, very beautiful book, thank you. And I was so deeply moved by the book, that I felt the power of words embrace me again. So then I picked up my second Murakami book, Kafka on the Shore. So yeah, let's see how that goes. So yeah.
दो चीज़ें यहाँ मैं बात करूँगा, एक तो ये जो, क्योंकि आपने एने में बोला था और उस पर आएंगे, बट लाइक आपने काफका और ये बोला काफका,
Ji.
like Vani has the series on our like platform, a book a month. So she
Okay.
picks up a book every month and then the whole चलचित्र audience reads it. जैसे इस महीने की बुक है शोली यू आर जोकिंग मिस्टर फाइन मैन, एंड अभी 2 महीने पहले it was like a few months back it was Kafka, and I also
Acha.
read Kafka, and like it's such a good book. और like I was always afraid of Kafka because people used to say that it is one of those more complex Kafka books, और मैं ऐसे ना थोड़ा ऐसे छोटा फील करता था, अरे तुम तो नॉर्वेजियन वुड लाइक करने वाले हो, कि basically people look down upon those who like Norwegian wood a lot.
Yeah, I think it's very unfair because
Yeah.
I do think that Norwegian Wood I think the reason why it's portrayed as a romance is just for marketing purposes. It's easier to market the book as a romance than market it as this is a man who has been so wrecked by grief that he's wrecking everyone around him. That's not a sexy title in
Yeah.
marketing at all, right? You gotta market it as like a love triangle and romance and exploration of gender and identity. Nothing. When I read the book, I was just moved by how it's such a beautiful exploration, like I said, of grief, and how it kind of is like veins that grows out of someone. You don't know where it's coming from, where it's branching, where it kind of gets larger, deeper, the ebbs and flows of it. So I thought it was such a beautiful read. Like I really, maybe if I read it when I was younger, I would have hated it because of like how the pacing is. But when I read it, now I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I needed. Just the right touch of existentialism to get me through. And the same with Kafka. I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, okay. And anime में are you a fan of, like, have you seen this one called 5 centimeters per second?
I haven't. And you know why? Because
Uh,
I am someone who cries at the drop. It's so easy to make me cry. That animes ruin me. Like I have to take a day out to watch animes. And so that has always been on my list. And when I say I watch a lot of anime, I haven't seen all the popular ones. Like I haven't seen Naruto. I haven't seen One Piece. I haven't seen what are the other ones? Like Sword Art Online and stuff. So my favorite anime is Code Geass, and it's still an anime that I keep going back and watching because I'm obsessed with that anime. And then Death Note and stuff. But yeah, so it's on my list. But I remember like I watched Kimi no Nawa with my mom, and then both of us were just sobbing for like one day straight. And my mom made this very random. I guess it's just a very Indian mom thing where she was like, "Are, why does Japanese sound like Konkani?" And I was like, "From what angle?" But yeah, like now my mom jams to all of Kimi no Nawa's songs.
nice. मेरे को
So yeah.
मतलब मैंने 5 सेंटीमीटर इसलिए मेंशन किया बिकॉज द डायरेक्टर ऑफ 5 सेंटीमीटर माकोटो शिंका, मेरे को उनका काम पर्टिकुलरली बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है.
Acha.
He has made Your Name and like 5
I've
centimeters,
seen your name.
and
Yeah.
Your Name, I'm not the biggest fan, but it's his most famous work. Then there is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
गार्डन ऑफ वर्ड्स करके उनकी एक 25-35 मिनट की एक फिल्म है, और ऐसे बहुत कुछ बनाया वो, बहुत ही पसंद है यार, लाइक मेरे को लाइक न्यू एज, लाइक I don't know, like he's like a filmmaker that I really really look up to. तो हाँ, like anime में लाइक हमारे एक ऐसे सीरीज भी थी कि हम हमेशा एनिमे का वीकली डिस्कशन करते थे. So it's for some reason like we haven't been doing it, like, but since you are like so much into anime, I think we should start it again and we'll invite you for a
Yeah.
discussion about the favorite animes.
Yeah, I think that sounds also great. I mean, I'm trying to get back to, I think, a lot of the things I discarded, because I wanted to grow up. But I still feel like, whether it's K dramas, it's anime, I'm very deeply influenced by the visual storytelling. So even with my plays, for me, the way in which like dialogues and like the words and the way it should flow, I feel like I borrow very heavily from animes. And I think that it really depends. Like for some people, animes can be too over stylized, but the way I look at it is that that like the way in which it can make you feel, like it can really suspend your belief, is something that I really love about animes. Like the storytelling, I absolutely love. Like it's always something that I go back to for like aesthetics and this and that. And it's the same with K dramas. There are obviously your crash landings on you, which is cute and fluff, but at the same time there are dramas like Maya Joshi, for example, that talk about society and talk about interpersonal relationships with this amazing kind of depth that I feel is truly lacking in the kind of content we consume, because it's either just glossed over with sex or it's glossed over with violence. Like no one's really telling slice of life stories and talking about just people being people anymore. So that was my TED talk on K dramas.
ये जो आप स्लाइस ऑफ लाइफ की बात कर रहे हो, लाइक आई वाज अ फुल टू स्लाइस ऑफ लाइफ पर्सन, अभी भी हूँ, बट लाइक समटाइम्स आई डोंट लाइक द स्लाइस ऑफ लाइफ विच इज़ नॉट डन राइट, because
Obviously. Yeah, yeah, I agree
because
with you.
my study of slice of life has been, आज की डेट में मतलब इतना देख लिया है, लाइक जिम जार्मुश, रिचर्ड लिंकलेटर एंड ऑल दीज फिल्म मेकर्स जो बस चल रहा है, बातें हो रही हैं, हो रहा है. सो व्हेन आई सी समवन ट्राई टू इमिटेट देम बैडली, इट हर्ट्स, बिकॉज
Yeah, of course.
जो लिंकलेटर की किताब में इथन हॉक ने लिखा था बॉयहुड में, लाइक बॉयहुड की एक किताब आई थी, लाइक आई हैव दिस कॉफी टेबल बुक, वहाँ पे इथन हॉक ने लिखा था the biggest problem with Richard Linklater is that he makes this look easy, और लोगों को लगता है हम ये कर सकते हैं. एंड
Correct.
लाइक उन्होंने फिर चार्ल्स बुकोस्की की बात की. चार्ल्स बुकोस्की के साथ सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये थी कि वो जब ऐसे लिखते हैं उनका तो अच्छा होता है, बट उनको इतने गंदे तरीके से लोग इमिटेट करते हैं. These people are responsible for a lot of bad art, and I'm like, this is so
Agreed.
true,
Agreed.
so true, because I was at a stage in like few years back. I was in a place where I was like, "Huh, every art is good art." Like ऐसा नहीं, but I'm like, no. Slice of life भी कर रहे हो तो my patience for slice of life is a little वो कि do it right, guys. Do it right.
No, I agree. I would also, I think a good example of this is this kind of boom in LGBTQIA content. And, like last year, there was this series released in Thailand called Together, which was about these two boys and how this one boy, tells this other guy that just help me, just pretend to be my boyfriend so I can get this like guy off my back. And it just blew up on Netflix because like gay stories are hard to come by. Happy gay stories where it's cheesy and where it's like told in a very I would say like like high school vibe and all that kind, is just like, for the gay community it's like, what is this, right? So it just blew up. And from there, Thailand started churning out, boys love content. So BL after BL, like GMM TV, which is like their I would say Star and Sony ke level pe, they kept churning out this BL content, and you had this sheer amount of like BLs, and then it like spilled over to Taiwan, spilled over to to like Philippines and Korea and Japan. And I remember the whole of last year was just full of like boys love content or LGBTQ content. And it's from there, I started to see that there was a templatized formula that Thailand had created of how a boys love story should be, where it's like enemies to lovers, set in a really nice college. One of them is super rich, one of them is a bit more like effeminate-ish, and that was like then cut, copy, pasted into all the other countries. And from there, I think for the LGBTQ community, it was just like, oh my god, all this amazing, amazing content. Now I feel like a lot of quality work is coming out, where it's not just
Right.
showing gay relationships or showing queer relationships. It's a lot of like now showing it with a slightly more realistic sense, like our that like kind of frivolous fun, and okay, the same tropes don't apply as of much. So I think with art there is an evolution. With genres there are these highs and these lows, and I'm seeing that a lot more now because people are just too conscious, they're too aware. I believe you just can't put out nonsense anymore. Like Radhe
Yeah.
is again a shining example. There will be people who will watch it, but it was heavily panned, right?
Have you
So
seen
I
it?
feel like absolutely not. But then again, I haven't seen many great films. I tend to just end up watching like stupid, reality TV shows, like British reality TV shows, because I'm just amused by how there's no drama in it. They
I
react very plainly.
on that note, I would like to tell you, I've been watching, अभी नहीं देख रहा, but मेरा अभी 2 हफ्ते थे, मैं सिर्फ रोडीज के पुराने ऑडिशन देखता था.
Oh my
रोडीज
god.
Roadies 4, 5, 6, 5, and I was like, these are nice. Or like I was like, because I was in a car once और मेरा वो car play चालू हो गया था, and like the other person saw ये क्या सुन रहे हो, मैंने कहा नहीं 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 नहीं, this is not me, this is not me, ये तो ऐसे ही है कि the person got to know I am into Roadies audition, and I'm like, shit, how do you get away from this?
Oh
But
man.
हाँ, it's like it's not that bad. Like guys, मतलब ये सब में ऐसे recommendation, try for yourself like the old ones. Have you seen any of the Roadies
Yeah,
seasons?
of course. Like when I was younger, obviously, right? Because I was at the rage, roadies, Splitsvilla, this and that.
Yeah.
Like it was like secret. You would watch like secretly, and like your mom's like out or your like dad's on home, and you like switch on MTV. Like oh my god, they're doing so much of like this and that. So yeah, of course. Like when I was younger, that was it. Now, but थोड़ा भी evolve हो गया ना taste. नहीं नहीं सुनना है.
Yeah.
देखना भी
नहीं
नहीं है.
हाँ, but like this is amazing. हम अल्फाज के बारे में like we are coming to the last segment now. Like if someone wants to reach out to you,
Hmm.
देखो लिंक ट्री के साथ मेरे को ना सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये लगती है कि सामने वाले को पता नहीं होता जाए कौन से लिंक पे. ये मेरा एक
ये
लिंक ट्री
बहुत
को हाँ.
बहुत क्लियरली मेंशन है, expression of interest form. So if not, DM me. I will send you the link personally, or if you want, DM Alfaaz itself. It's team.alfaaz on Instagram, and you'll get all the details there. And yeah, we're very sweet people. We'll reply to you in maybe
हाँ.
5 minutes or 24 hours.
गाइज हमने एविटा का इंस्टाग्राम हैंडल लाइक डिस्क्रिप्शन में डाला है, सो डू रीच आउट टू हर इफ़ यू
Yeah.
आर अ पर्सन हु इज़ इनटू राइटिंग, डायरेक्शन, शूटिंग, एक्टिंग, जो भी आपके टैलेंट्स है प्लीज़ एविटा
हाँ.
को बताइए, एंड लाइक यू विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. एंड and Evita is like जाते जाते just last thing, like is there anything that I missed from mine that like you would like to talk about?
If that was the case, this conversation will go on for another 6 hours. So I think we're well covered. I really had
So
fun talking
are
to
you
you.
like okay, did I miss a lot?
No, 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 not that way. I was making a joke, but
Okay.
because I'm the kind of person I don't shut up, as you can see. Like if
Oh no no, ऐसा नहीं
jams
है.
me, I would win. क्योंकि आप मुझे topic दो, I will run with it. So yeah.
No, but this was a lot of fun, Evita. And जो Evita के fans हमारे channel पे पहली बार आए
मेरे
हैं,
fans नहीं है, मेरे fans कहाँ हैं?
अच्छा तो जो Evita के friends हमारे channel पे पहली बार आए हैं, and मैं उनको बताना चाहता हूँ about this channel. This is Second Last Supper. I have been doing a lot of podcasts on this, and ये हमारा एक podcast channel है. This is a newly started podcast channel. and do subscribe to it. We are about to hit 4,000 subscribers on this, and if you also follow us here, हमारा मेन चैनल चलचित्र टॉक्स है, वहाँ पे हमें जाके फॉलो कीजिए, वहाँ पे हम बहुत सारी recommendations देते हैं. And if you are here, also try to watch Vani's podcast. It's very different from what I do. Her podcast is called Bedtime Journals with Vani, where she picks up a topic and does a 5 to 10 minute podcast on them, like how she did one on how yellow lights are better than white lights. और उसका एक बहुत ही ऊपर उसके ऊपर बहुत अच्छी एनिमेशन भी है. सो या चेक आउट आवर स्टफ. एंड जो हमारे फैंस आए हैं और चलचित्र के जो फैंस आए हैं, गाइस डेफिनेटली follow Alfaaz, follow Evita, and yeah, do try to reach out to them. Thank you so much, Evita. I hope you had fun.
Thank you for having me. I really had a lot of fun. This just really felt like I was, talking to a friend. I've just met you today. So this is a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will end it from the back end now. You can stay, like I'll just end it from here.
Acha,
Chalo. Okay. Chalo guys, we'll see you. Bye.